right, here we are. So today, it's another Thursday coming around, another week, another fabulous guest on our Living in a Virtual World kind of video series, I guess it is. So today I'm welcoming the gorgeous Cheryl Alderman, who's been such a gorgeous friend of mine for so long. I don't know how long, but, you know, long enough.
I reckon about 7 years.
Yeah, I think so. It was very early in my business journey, I remember, and I'm sort of into my 11th year. So, yeah, it's amazing. So thank you for being here. We were having our sort of regular once every, I don't know, couple of months chat.
Probably more like every 9 months.
I know, terrible. We are terrible. However, you know, we were talking about this, that the beauty about these chats is that we know that when we do talk, and we don't do it often, but when we do, we walk away buzzing, because there's such, you know, there's such gold in our conversations that we don't go in with the intention of coming out like that. It's just that we know that we talk about great stuff and we lift each other up and we walk away going, oh, that was so good. So that's why I thought that I'd bring you on, because I think it's a really great topic, and I think it's a really great reminder for people to kind of think about who it is that they're connecting with, particularly in a time like this where people are feeling, you know, mentally drained. It's a different situation that they've been put into. Who are those people that you connect with, and do they lift you up, and do they, you know, motivate you and provide you with that sounding board? You know, I think that's really important. So before we get into all of that, I want people to understand a little bit about who you are. Who is Cheryl Alderman?
Oh, gosh, that's a scary question. Who am I? Well, I grew up in a tiny little town in New Zealand called Wainuiomata. Anyone from Wellington will now immediately go, because it's not the most fabulous place in the world to grow up in, but I survived, and it taught me a lot of lessons about resilience and being strong in yourself and adapting to different people and types of people and so on. I got to 19 and I came for a holiday to Sydney with my best friend for 3 weeks, and I'm still here. So I make decisions easily, and I back myself when I make decisions, and I decided to stay, and I'm still here. I'm now, I'm not going to do the maths, but I'm 55 now, so it's been a fair long while. And started a whole new life in Australia, which has been the best thing ever. I went into the corporate world, and I worked my way through accounts, through logistics, through IT, and my final full-time role was an IT manager. Back then there wasn't change management and risk management and all of those separate bits. Project management, I did all of it for Sydney and Canberra. We had teams on site, we had teams off site at client sites and so on, and I was looking after all of them, which was really fun. Lots of flying around, really long hours, et cetera, but I loved it. So lots of experience in senior leadership in corporate. Then I made the decision it was time for babies, and as I said, I backed myself. So I had 3 in 4 years.
That's backing yourself.
If you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah.
So I had 3 kids under 4, which was exciting and challenging and fun and fabulous all at once. But they are all now obviously in their 20s and doing their own things, which is great. And then I actually set up a consulting firm for a year when I first went on maternity leave, and decided not to do that. It was, you know, as you can imagine, with 3 of them on the go, it was just too hard. So I pushed pause for 10 years, and then 10 years into the childhood journey, went back to corporate, and I didn't love it anymore. I found it really frustrating. I thought that things would have moved forwards, and they hadn't, and I thought that managers would be managing the way I managed when I was a leader, and they weren't. And I spent a lot of time training and helping grow and develop the managers around me, and kind of went, well, maybe this is what I should be doing. And so explored the field of coaching, went and got qualified in that. And as soon as I was qualified, started my business. As I said, I'm a decision maker. So I quit the job, started the business. And in my first year, I made $19,000.
Yep.
Remember that first year in business?
Oh, yeah.
It's very frustrating it is. But, 8 years later, I now have 2 businesses, both successful, both thriving. Obviously, we've had some drops with COVID, but both doing really well. And I love it. I love working for myself. I love helping other individuals and corporates and business owners. I'm living the dream, I guess.
You really are.
Within COVID at the moment.
Yeah, but, that's probably the one thing that originally attracted me to you as someone that, I wanted to hang around, was because your level of enjoyment, your level of passion for what you were doing was always sky high. It never waned, it never dropped, it still hasn't, all these years later. And, I think that's really important when you're looking for the people who, are going to support and lift and, be with you along your journey. You want to know that, yes, they might have downtimes, but you always, even in your downtimes, see the positive side of things. And that's such a huge thing, that positive. Just being able to look at it and I know you've had some really shitty times that you've had to deal with, right? Recently plus before that, but you've always turned that into, all right, well, that's the situation. So what am I going to make out of that?
Yeah. And look, I'm not one of those positive, in a bubble, nothing bad ever happens in the world people. And they're around too. I get angry and I get sad and I get anxious and all those things that everybody else does. But I think, I don't know, I think I learned, my mum, I think, taught me lots of things that I wish she didn't, but she taught me, all of us, I think, to always back yourself. And if things aren't okay and things are not okay around you, don't turn it in and take it on board as you not being okay, as you not being good enough or not worthy. We were taught that, you always back yourself and look for what you can do to change it. And I think that was from really young. And when you're always solution focused, you don't stay in problem as a lot. Yeah, and you do go there and, you're allowed to, and you're allowed to cry and you're allowed to feel sorry for yourself and all of that stuff. It's called being human, which we all are, even the strongest of us. I've had CEOs in tears in a coaching session before, big alpha male CEOs in tears. So we're all human, and it's okay to have down times and feel sorry for yourself and feel sad and frustrated and want to punch something and all of that stuff. That's normal. But it's being able to kind of let yourself sit in that and then decide that, okay, now I'm going to focus on solution. Now I'm going to look what I can do next. How do I move forward? What one tiny thing can I do that will just help a little bit, even if it doesn't fix the whole problem? And having the right people to bounce stuff around with is so important when you're having those kind of things going on. And I think that's what's happening at the moment with a lot of people. Everybody's at home, depending on what business you're in. Some people are completely down to zero revenue. Some people are 50%, some people are 120%. It really depends what your business is. But all of those scenarios come with different challenges, and just being at home and trying to operate as a business owner and especially if you've got children at school, at home, like I know you do, Kristy, and trying to kind of separate and focus on what you want to focus on can be quite challenging. So, it really is about, first of all, don't turn it in on yourself. It's not your fault. You didn't create this. You can't control it. It's the old thing, focus on what you can control, not what you can't. And most of us at this point in time have no control over what's going to happen next. We just don't, and we don't know what's going to happen next. And that's really challenging. It creates a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, it does. I had a Zoom meeting last night because some people may or may not know, but I run a junior AFL club, and obviously that's stopped. And we the committee all got together and we got online, and we knew on Friday the government's going to be announcing what they're going to do with sport in general. And we knew that we were a week early, obviously, from being able to make any decisions. But, gee, it was nice to get online and run through scenarios and work out, all right, this is our best case, this is our worst case, what are we going to do? And rather than sit there and kind of just dwell on the negative side of the fact that we may not get a season this year, or we may not have the revenue coming in, or whatever, it was, all right, well, what can we control right now? What can we do based on what we know? Well, we could probably put out an email to our, so I think you're right. It's what can you control? Focus on that, because then it takes away sort of that focus on the things that aren't going to your plan. To the way that you want them to.
Yeah. And one of the exercises I do with a lot of clients is I say to them, write down what you want to achieve. Actually, do you want, even within this, to get 2 new clients in the next month? Do you want to raise your profile? Do you want to get enough money to live off? Like, whatever it is, write it down, and then write down all the different ways you can think of that you could possibly achieve that. And then get on Zoom, get on the phone with your people that you can bounce things around with. And a lot of the time you don't have the thought process happening that will take you where you need to be for the solution. But if you start by doing what comes out of your head, and then you bring that into a conversation with someone else, you then get the benefit of that perspective. And one of my things I often say in session to people is there's no such thing as a bad idea, ever. There's no such thing as a bad idea, because any idea that you verbalize is going to create a response from the people around you, or the person that you're talking to, which will then create another response, which will then create another response. And that idea in itself may have been the worst idea ever, but it's not a bad idea, because it might lead to the idea that you need, the thing that you actually do need and can do and hadn't thought of, because you actually verbalized that idea in the first place.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting, because I run this business on my own, literally. I don't have those, managers to talk to, or the infrastructure of people. However, what I realized 2 weeks ago was I've actually got 30 virtual assistants who've all got really amazing insights and skills. And so, putting it out to them and saying, I really value your feedback. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
Some of the ideas that came in and some of the things that came up, I would have never have thought about. And it led to other things. So I think I think you've just got to empower other people to come in on the discussion and provide that feedback. Whether you take it on board or not is a different story, but at least get that feedback.
But often, and this is the thing, with coaching, is that it's more about listening than it is about talking as a coach. Yeah. And often just verbalizing what you're thinking then enables your brain to kind of sort through it and sift through it, especially as women. We process verbally. So the more we talk about things, the more we actually process it, the more we actually get to where we need to go. So we do need to talk about it. And I think, as much as we're kind of almost at the point of Zoom overload now, it's important to have different kinds of discussions with different kinds of people. So not just your best friend every second day, and not just, your staff, and not just your husband or your partner or whoever. It's reach out to those people in your business community that you only see once a month at your networking group or whatever it might be, and just talk about business. And things happen. Things happen. But also, and I'm going to go back to what we were talking about the other day when I kind of called you out on something.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about uncertainty, and one of the things that we're all noticing about the way we're dealing with all of this is that in order to feel normal in this strange environment and create some certainty, we're all getting very structured in what we're doing. So this time of day we have breakfast, and at this time of day we're working or we're helping the kids with schoolwork, and then at this time of day we're doing this, and then at this time of day we're on a Zoom call for this, and at this time of day we're doing this, and we're all going for walks and runs, which is great, but what we're doing is we're almost at the point of being too structured, and our structure is there to create certainty, and we need that. But if we do too much in too much of a structured way, we're actually shutting off our right-hand brain. Our right-hand brain is our creative side of our brain, and our right-hand brain is what helps us solve problems. Because in order to solve problems, we need to be able to think creatively. We need to be able to get outside of the box, outside of comfort zone, and throw things around and come up with something different. And when we're completely following a structured lifestyle, our right-hand brain is kind of being strangled. And I'm gonna dob on you, Kristy.
No, dob on me, please. Use me as an example. Absolutely.
So Kristy and I were talking about this the other day, and I said to her, you know, what are you doing to keep your creative side of your brain happy, occupied? And she said, I'm doing, what did you tell me you were doing?
Colour by numbers, or paint by numbers?
Colour by numbers. And I was like, well, colour's great. Colour stimulates the right-hand brain. But if you're colouring by numbers, again, that's a process. That's structured. It's left-hand brain, you know. It's what number now, what colour's that? You know, it's not creative. So, you know, I said, you know, even if you're just doodling flowers while you're talking on a Zoom call, or you know, or you know, get out a piece of paper and just do a mind map or something, or you know, sit under a tree and just watch the wind in the leaves. Or maybe you're not allowed to do that in your backyard. I don't think parks are open yet.
No.
You know, get yourself in nature, but don't just walk through it and with your podcast on and whatever. Actually, you know, experience it, notice it, connect with it. And so, look, some people are doing this. I've seen some beautiful pictures of sunsets and beachfronts and things when people are going for their walks. But it's about disconnecting and just tapping into beauty and nature and creativity and colour and music. You know, just chuck some music on and dance around the living room. You know, don't follow a YouTube and do their dance, or a TikTok. Do your own. Just have a boogie, have a sing, you know, anything creative to restart your right-hand brain, because the more we're in this structured state, the more we're isolated, the more we're in problem, the more we need that right-hand brain, and the less we tend to go to it. So,
No, that was.
Have you done anything since we chatted?
I have. No, I really have. And it was so profound for me to actually realise that I haven't touched the paint by numbers since. I mean, I know that I'll get back to it at some point, but you know, today, for example, after this call, I'm going to Bunnings and I'm going to buy a whole lot of vegetable seedlings, and I've got this little greenhouse pop-up thing that I got. So I'm going to potter in that and create something within that little space. And I'm sitting and I'm crocheting, but I've actually decided I'm not crocheting to an actual pattern. Yep, I'm just crocheting, and it's just going, you know, long blanket,
wherever it goes,
I don't know, whatever it becomes, you know,
wherever it
which
goes.
is really, really nice. And then I had my foot spa the other day, and I put on some beautiful tribal music, and I just lay there with my feet in this foot spa with this. It was just lovely. And so you're absolutely right, because after doing all of those things, I just had a lot of clarity around other things, you know, and I felt very clear. There's a lot going on at the moment, as we all know. So, yeah, I think that was really great. And can I just say, for those people that are live at the moment watching us, thank you very much. For those that are popping in and out, if you want to pop a little comment in there, or if there's anything that you want to add to this, please pop it into the comments so that we can refer to that and be interactive with you through this. It always makes it so much easier knowing that we're talking to people as well. So please do say hello. Someone's just waved, but I'm not sure who it is, because you've got to log into StreamYard so I can see your name. Anyway, so yes, right-hand brain. That's definitely
So getting that flowing, and it doesn't look. I've been. I'll have to confess, I've been up until this week when they've stopped coming. I'm a huge Robbie Williams fan, and he had been until this week doing a live stream every day, Karaoke, and basically people just songs and him just singing whatever songs they requested, and just singing with that, and having a good look at him because he's
of course, because he's gorgeous, yes,
and he's naughty, which I like, but I don't, I sing in the car.
Yep.
I haven't been in the car for weeks.
That's it.
That's something I'm used to doing, and I can't see. If anyone else heard me, they'd be horrified. But, I sit in my room for my 45 minutes with, just belting out tunes, and, they're all sorts of tunes because people all around the world are requesting. So it's, it's quite fun and just letting loose, and then out I come and carry on with whatever I'm carrying on with. But, things like singing in the car that we're used to, we're just not doing,
I know. Well, I've been, the one thing that I love is when I've finished off my day, I'm cooking dinner, I'll put on, I love Miley Cyrus. I absolutely love her music. And there's this one song, Slide Away, that just, I play it in the morning, first thing when I wake up, I play it at night. I just love it. And so I'll put that on and dance away to that while I'm cooking dinner. And yesterday, I haven't had alcohol for about 3 months, but I just felt like I needed a glass of red wine yesterday. So cooking dinner, a glass of red wine, Miley Cyrus on, just before I was going onto my Zoom call. And I just felt great. I felt really, really good,
Yeah.
So,
and look, if you can meditate, great, do that. If you can't, like I say, you don't have to be good at something. You can sit and draw a picture and then chuck it in the bin. No one has to see it. Get some colours going. Get on your whiteboard and start brainstorming on your whiteboard, or just chuck up some A4 paper on the wall and get some coloured pens and play around and see what you can come up with. Because if we don't get that right hand brain going, we're all going to stay in problem.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's not where we want to be. It's staying in problem at the moment, I think is a recipe for disaster. So, we need to be, the one thing that I am seeing is there's two types of people at the moment. There's the people that are just sitting back watching what's going on and just staying very disconnected. They're just kind of in their own little bubble and trying to weather whatever it is, or they're learning, or they're doing whatever. But then there's the people that are continuing what they would normally have done in person, but putting it online and getting, having the conversations and reaching out to people and doing those things. And, I guess, there is a time for both of those. Obviously, now I was quite introverted and disconnected for a little while there. But I tell you, I feel so much better being connected. And so I do encourage everyone to actually just reach out to somebody today. Just, doesn't matter who it is, but just make sure that that's the person that's going to, provide you with a bit of motivation, a bit of a lift, make you feel like you're progressing. And I think that's what we were talking about yesterday. If you feel like you're making some sort of progress, it doesn't matter what that progress is, but in your head it feels like progress, then it's going to make you want to keep moving forward. It's that momentum, right? So aside from the lifter-uppers and talking to people, what are some of the other things that people can do to actually make them feel like they're making progress?
Well, it's interesting. Do you know the Kelloggs and Post story?
No.
Because one of the things that I've seen, and that a lot of business owners at the moment are kind of like pulling back, because of what's happening, and like you said, we withdraw when we're not sure. We withdraw, and then we try and create some certainty within our own little bubble. I love the word bubble. Thank you, Jacinda Ardern. We create our own little bubble until we feel safe again, and then we venture out. Having said that, the introverts in the world are loving this. They've got all their wishes come true. Everyone's gone away. They're doing what they want to do. They're having their meetings. They're not turning on their face on their Zoom. They're just having their blank screen with their name on it. They're quietly, having a lovely old time. And I've got friends who are quite high introverts their life hasn't changed very much, really. It's not that different to what it was before. So some people are thriving in this. So, remember that too. I think it's important to reach out. But the Kellogg's and Post story I was going to tell, a lot of business owners have pulled in all their stops. They've stopped promoting, they've stopped their social media, they've stopped, whatever they were doing before because they're looking at the budgetary side. But there's a really great story back from, I think, I can't remember, I think it was the 50s. If I'm wrong, I apologise, but I'm pretty sure it was the 50s. After the war, or during the World War, there was actually two big cereal companies in the US. There was US, could be UK, again. I'm not good on details, but it's the story that matters. So there was two really big cereal companies. There was Kellogg's and there was Post. Have you heard of Post?
No.
Point in question. So basically what happened during the war, it was a bit like now. Everyone withdrew, everyone was staying at home, everyone was kind of in a precarious situation business-wise. So these two companies made two very different decisions when it came to what to do. Post pulled in all their advertising, all their marketing, cut costs, cut staff, and basically just went into their little bubble. Kellogg's did the opposite. They increased their presence. They had, advertising, marketing, they spent more on, they hired more staff to get on, on the phones and whatever, and on to the newspapers and getting things happening. And by the time everyone came out of the war and was kind of back to normal, they'd all got in the habit of buying Kellogg's.
Yeah.
And Post is no longer, and we all know Kellogg's. So one of the things I would say is, even if you're kind of within yourself, staying in your bubble because you're not feeling, excited about what's going on, don't pull your business into that bubble. It's really important to be seen, to be present, for people to be familiar with your business, your brand, what you do. Even if you can't do it at the moment, even if you're in travel, still have stuff going up. Can't wait till we can go back to Mykonos, or can't wait till the Trans-Tasman, boundaries get dropped. Start planning your New Zealand holiday. Whatever business you're in, be present. Get your social media happening. Get your emails out. Even if your emails are just saying, if you, we're not doing anything at the moment because we're all trapped at home with our kids doing schoolwork. How are you going? Give us, we'd love to hear from you. Even if you're just, having a really light, non-businessy conversation, keep that connection going. Keep yourself out there and being seen as a business.
Yeah.
Because at the other side of this, there's going to be businesses that there'll be businesses who people have forgotten about. Yep. And there'll be businesses that people have stayed connected with. And you want to be the business that people have stayed connected with. Even if you can't service them at the moment, you want them to feel connected to the business. Yeah. Yeah. So I love that story. I only heard about it myself last week, and I was like, why have I never heard this story before? Yeah. But so I
totally agree with that.
It's your personal connection is important, but don't disconnect your business just because you're feeling disconnected. Make sure that your business is its own entity and it's still present and it's still being seen. And, for me at the moment, it's International Coaching Week this week. So I'm posting about that, and the reality is I've had very few new clients over this period. I've had existing clients come for extra sessions or come back for sessions because they're dealing with different things at the moment. But new clients aren't really happening. But I'm making sure I'm still being seen. I'm making sure and not selling, not bashing people over the head with what I have to offer. Not that kind of visibility, but just letting your business continue to be seen. Get on those Facebook groups that you post once a week on, and continue to do that, and have conversations with people online. I think that's really important to remember that, yes, you are your business, but your business is also its own entity. So it can still keep going even if you're falling in a heap in the background. Yeah. Because, eventually the doors will open and we'll all be back out in the world, and we want people to be there to meet us. We want people to be excited to see us and our businesses keeping going.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a huge thing. I think that's if you're not doing that, you will be left behind.
Yeah, you will be left behind. And the reality is, if you think about it, everyone's on the internet at the moment. Everyone. Yeah, that's
the
whole place. So if you're not there, then you're missing out on an opportunity that's not going to happen again probably in our lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, when has the whole of Sydney, the whole of Australia, the whole of the world all been trapped at home on their computers? Never. It's never happened before.
Right.
But we have access to that. You know, we know that they're there. So wave, say hello, you know.
That's it. And so, because what some people probably don't know is that you've got a second business, which is the social media business. So talk us through that. What are you seeing at the moment? What are you doing a lot of?
Sorry about the dinging. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it's been interesting. So we haven't lost many clients. We've lost 2 clients, but we've had more than that in new clients. So swings and roundabouts. I think we've seen a lot of adapting. We've seen a lot of clients really, you know, hurriedly moving to online, which is really smart, because that way you can keep going. We've had a lot of conversations with clients about pivoting and adapting and what they can offer in the interim. So, for example, one of our clients is quite a successful footwear retailer. And, you know, obviously they didn't have to close, but they did close. There was no clients. They've just reopened. But so we focused on, you know, exercising at home and, you know, a lot of their clients, they do a lot of orthopedic shoes and things like that. So a lot of their content, we focused on, you know, exercise for seniors in the home, ways to stay healthy when you can't exercise out of the house. And we kind of shifted the focus more to health and fitness, which is directly related to their business. Yeah. And ironically, they actually continued selling while they were closed. They had people messaging them on Facebook saying, look, we're going for walks with the family. You know, we put up the teddy bears picnic that was going on the North Shore and things like that. And they had people messaging them directly to ask, is there any way for us to get these particular shoes in this particular size? Because we're out running every day, because that's all we can do. And our shoes are wearing out or whatever. So, you know, we just kind of changing the shift to something that's related to the core of the business, even if they can't deliver that business at the moment. Yeah,
perfect. Yeah, and I think that's the best way to be managing it right now.
Well, it's about continuing to give value when you can't give your product or service. So looking at, if I can't give my product or service, what can I give my audience that's of value to them? That will help them, might save them looking for it. You know, we did one, I think, for them about all the national parks worldwide that are now online. You can tour them online, virtually. You know, there's a lot of the national parks have done that.
And the museums and
and we've got another client that's very visual type products. And so, for them, we talked about the museums and art galleries that can be accessed online. We've got another client who's a conveyancer, and she's a crazy musical theatre fan in real life, and her entire office is wallpapered with show posters. And so we started putting up links to shows that were live streaming or available for free. Andrew Lloyd Webber just put some up and so on. And so, you know, we were still posting about what was happening in real estate, because there were still things happening, not at the same level. But we also kind of brought in more of that personality side. And you know, remembering that your business isn't just your business. It's not just that service or that product. There's more to it than that, you know. The people that get to know the business get to know you. They get to know your characteristics, what you love, what you don't, you know. I think everybody in my circles knows my red shoes and how much I love my red shoes, you know. So you feel connected in whatever way it is. So it's a really good time to tap into that. I had one of my corporate connections say that, you know, they've met every single one of their staff's cats now. Yeah. You know. Now, that's a connection. That's a deeper connection. That manager now has a deeper connection with his team, because he now knows their cats as well. He knows that they're pet lovers. He knows who's got, you know, what going on at home. And normally you don't see that. You don't talk about that. So, you know, there's a different type of connection going on, whether it's on social, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's on the telephone. The boundary between business and personal has shifted towards personal. So you have a bit more freedom. You know, you can be a little bit more open. Can I just jump back to what you said about connecting with others? One thing just to watch out for is that you know, we all want to support each other, and some of our people are suffering and anxious and upset and not doing well, and it's important to be there for them. But it's also important to notice that we have a balance. So if we're spending a lot of time giving our own energy out to bring people up, we need to make sure we're also connecting with people at that higher level to bring ourselves back up. And keep them at that level as well. So you've got to make sure you've got a balance. If you're constantly the rescuer, the carer, then you're eventually going to end up where they are, because you're going to use up all your energy and use up all your positivity, giving it away to everybody else, and you're just going to feel drained. So just be really aware. I call them there's balloon poppers, there's balloon suckers, and there's balloon blowers. And balloon poppers are the people that just poo-poo everything. You know, it doesn't matter what you say. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, that won't work. Oh, I've tried that. No, that's the balloon poppers. Balloon suckers are the ones that you spend time with and it takes the air out of your balloon so you feel flat afterwards. Balloon blowers are those people that fill up your balloon and you feel full and excited. And even if you haven't talked necessarily about positive stuff, you feel good when you get off that call or, you know, when you hang up the phone. So just watching, you know, make sure you're there for your friends, because the people that need help at the moment really need us. They really need us. But make sure you're balancing that out with you know, balloon blowers as well, and people that will help you feel good about yourself and what's going to happen next and the future. Because there is a future. I think we've all got to remember that. There is a future. This is not, we're not going to be sitting at home in 10 years' time still waiting for this to finish, you know. We may not be able to travel overseas as much, but within Australia, we're going to come out the other side not too far off. So, you know, there is a future there, and we can do it. You know, we've been through World War. Well, we haven't lived through World Wars.
No.
I think this is our World War, pretty much. You know, it's our version of that. And our parents' generation did it, and our grandparents and their great-parents, they've all lived through war scenarios. We haven't. So, you know, it's a learning curve for us. We're learning how to do it.
Yeah. Well, what a beautiful way to end this conversation.
A war?
No.
I'm sure we can find something better than that.
Yeah,
we can jump back to cornflakes.
No. Well, I'm just going to pop your website up there. If anyone wants to check out more about who you are and who you work with, and, you know, the coaching side of the business, for sure. Is there anything for the social media side of, what's the social media website?
Socialforyou.com.au. So social number 4. .com.au.
YOU or just a U?
No, just the U.
Just the U.
I don't know how I got that name when I started the business. I'm still amazed that name was available. It popped into my head and I was like, there's no way I'll be able to get that, but I did. So there we go.
Well done.
So Social for You, our pivot is that we're running all our trainings online at the moment. So we've got an Instagram for Business workshop running on Monday. We've been running the LinkedIn workshops. We've been running blogging workshops online. We normally we would run them in-house.
Cool.
And they seem to be going really well. So if anyone wants to know more about those, they can have a look on the website or give me a buzz, because we'll probably continue to do that. It seems to be working well.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Thank you, lovely lady.